What a credit to your character. Hey, welcome everybody. Oh, we've got some people flooding in now. It is Substackery El Desko live working lunch. I am overjoyed to be here with Emma Kennedy, celebrity MasterChef winner, comedian, writer, Lego builder. That is what we're going to be talking.
Lego builder, yes.
All those things. So, yeah, look,
Master builder, thank you. Master builder.
Master builder.
Master builder.
Is that actually is that a qualification that one attains? Like,
I mean, it should be.
If
I could have gone to university and done a degree in Lego, I happily would have done. Yeah.
And this master buildery, that self-ascribed or what have you, how long have you been building with?
Well, it's interesting. I did not play with Lego as a child ever. I didn't have a single brick of Lego when I was little. And it was one Christmas, and my nephew came up to me, and someone had bought him a little Star Wars set, and he said, and no one was prepared to help him make it because they were busy or whatever. And he came up to me and he said, "Will you help me make it?" And I said, "Of course I will." And I started to build it, and this is the first ever Lego set I have ever built. And something happened to my brain while I was building that Lego, and I just sort of entered this plane of Zen. And after I had finished building it, I could not stop thinking about how I had felt while I was making that Lego, because my brain goes at 100 miles an hour all the time. And during that 1 hour where we built that set together, it was just like I had walked into a forest of calm. It was absolutely incredible. And I thought, well, you know, adults aren't allowed to make Lego. I mean, I didn't know this at the time, that the AFL, which is Adult Fan of Lego, is a huge and massive. I mean, it's vast, so much so that Lego now actually makes sets that are pretty much just aimed at that crowd. And I just happened to see another author posted a picture of a VW camper van that they'd made in Lego, and I thought, oh, adults are allowed to build Lego. So I bought that exact set. And it was like a gateway drug into the rest of my life, honestly. And it just opened up a whole world of joy. And then this sort of slightly coincided with the first lockdown, because just before lockdown, I was given an amazing old set that you can't get anymore of the Ghostbusters firehouse. And I started building it. And every day, and this is when I was still on Twitter. I was still on there then. But I was posting really small 2 little minute videos of what I had built that day, and somebody just said, I would love to watch you building, doing the whole build. And that's when Relax with Bricks started, and which is my YouTube channel. And I just started just every day, and then during lockdown, every single day of lockdown, I just built a bag of Lego live, and posted that film, and this community grew up around it, and it was a really beautiful thing, actually, because there were a lot of people who were on their own during lockdown. And I think for especially the people who were very early adopters of Relax with Bricks, it was a lot of people who were on their own, and they just found that for an hour every day they had someone else to be with, and they all made friends with each other, and it was incredible. It was gorgeous, and I've just kept it going. So every Monday to Friday, I post a film on Relax with Bricks, and I build in real time. So, which is my one difference from all the other people who do Lego on YouTube or online, because you'll just see a sped up build, a time lapse build. But I take my time. I do one bag a day.
I love this. And you take your time. I'm really interested in these meditative practices in terms of your sense of time when you're doing it. Is it the kind of thing you start and then you lose the time,
Oh
or
yeah, you could. Yeah, I mean, this is why I restrict myself to one bag a day, because otherwise I'd
right?
be in there all day and I'd never get anything else done. But it's become its own sort of universe, because the regulars who post messages every day,
Mm.
that's called club business, and they have their own theme tunes. Like each person gets their own theme tune. Some of them have voices, because I also am a voice artist as well. So
Yeah.
and there's loads and loads of rules and regulations that I've got to follow. We've got an ombuds goose. If you subscribe to it, you're called a goose. So that will explain why. So there's an ombuds goose
Yeah.
who is like the VAR in football, but for
Hmm.
all things that I'm doing on the channel.
Good
Um,
lord,
yeah,
controversial replays
it's
and
like
judgments.
it's become well. There's a thing called the Book of Morons, which I've been entered into more time than I would care to mention. But yeah, every time there is an infraction, I must be entered into the Book of Morons, and it must be recorded the precise time and what I
Yeah.
did wrong. But yeah, no, it's great fun. It's become a really rich universe, actually. So
Yeah.
it's way beyond just building Lego now. It's great, and and we've seen people through difficult times,
Mhm.
and we've lost some people. The other thing is, when you become a goose, you get your own bespoke minifigure that sits on the
Mhm.
table where I'm building. So we have a phrase that
Oh,
when you die, you never die on the haunted. It's called the haunted table because there were a
yeah.
couple of episodes where we had some strange things happen with some pieces of Lego. So it's now called the haunted table, but you never die on the haunted table because your minifigure is always there.
This is fantastic, and I have to say, I think that I might be a becoming an AFOL, an adult fan of Lego.
Affle. Yeah, an affle. The people who are on my channel, we're called Affle Wax because we're adult fans of Lego who are chums.
This is great because I'm like you. I never really built with Lego, and now I have a toddler. And what actually
Yeah.
happened to me was that a well-meaning aunt of mine came by, and my child is 3 years old, and gave a Lego box that was for like 7 plus or something, but it was quite a remarkable one because it was the same Lego bricks could be used to make a fighter jet or a helicopter
Oh,
or a
yeah.
speedboat.
A three in one. Three in
And they
one.
all, each piece, it was incredibly detailed. Each piece was a choking hazard in its own right and all this kind of thing. My child had no idea what to do with it. So I had to build it. And
Yeah.
I had so much fun. And I have made all three variations. It has a mounting thing that I put there. And I build it, and then my child smashes it, loves it, but smashes it.
Yeah.
So I rebuild it again. But I don't mind. I quite enjoy it. And I even discovered, Emma, that when pieces go missing, as some have up in the vacuum cleaner or so, I can send away to Sweden
Yes.
or wherever it is and
Yeah.
ask for
Denmark.
specific
Yeah.
pieces,
Yeah.
and they'll
And
send them
they'll
to
just send you.
me.
And they'll just send you the pieces. Yeah, they're amazing. They're
What a
absolutely amazing. But one of the other things I love to do, and you might get into this when
yeah.
you get going with your Lego building, is that I refuse to make any of the Star Wars sets because I can't bear sort of just large grey lumps. But
Okay.
I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars. Like
Yes.
it's a
Hey, how do you deal with
passion for me. And so there's a famous Lego set of the Death Star,
that?
and
Hmm.
it's massive, it's enormous. But I made my own version of it called the Death Spar. So it is the shape of the Death Star, and it's
Yep.
complete with the all the features that you would recognise from the Death Star. But
Mm.
instead, there's a restaurant on the lower level. There's a creche. There's a shower room. There's a proper spa room where C3PO can give stormtroopers Botox. There's a hot tub. There's a disco room. There's a band room. There's a VIP room. There's a bar. There's a health and safety room on the upper deck.
Yeah.
It's great fun. I loved making that.
And they wouldn't have had many of the problems that the Empire had against the rebels if the Death
Well,
Star was set up in that more kind of
this is
higgy
where they
way,
went wrong.
right?
There's nowhere to go to toilet on the Death Star. No one's ever thought about this. This is why everyone's
No.
so miserable. There's nowhere to go.
though there is a place to throw trash, obviously, because we've seen that scene.
Yes,
That
yes,
brings up
yes. It's
a big.
basically loads of stormtroopers lining up by the trash chute in order to do their daily. There's no
That's
toilets on the
the
Death
idea.
Star. No one ever thinks about this.
No, and tell me, it brings up another point to me because I'm just very early in my Lego career, and
Yes,
is hey, this is a set that you make this from. It sounds like you're kind of freestyling. Like, do you
I
freestyle
do.
from a set? Do you have a like
Yes,
make anything bricks?
yes. So these are called MOCs in the
Hmm.
AFOR world, and they're called my own creations. But yeah, I do those all the time. I've just built a village, a village square
Hmm.
that's having a parade around it, which is rather good fun. That's
Oh,
good. Yeah.
absolutely exciting. And I love everybody that's watching. It's on YouTube. Go to YouTube and subscribe. We love the idea that Emma's on Substack and the empire spreads throughout the realm. Is it something, yeah, is it something that could happen on Substack at some stage,
Yes,
or is
it is.
it
I
still well
mean,
established?
I'll talk to you about this separately, but it would be
Yeah.
brilliant if there was a way, because I know you can do a video on Substack and send it to YouTube. But is there
Yes.
a way of doing of making your YouTube video also go to Substack? Because I would love to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I will talk to you separately. Generally, the easiest way it goes is you upload it first to Substack, and then it auto uploads to YouTube in a
Right.
private draft, and you can
I
publish
get.
first or
I'll get a
second.
lesson. I'll get a lesson
Yeah.
from you
Oh, I
on
would
that,
love to
because
do
that
that, and
would be
I'd love to
great.
because I'm a great fan. I'm doing a lot of this live stuff now, and all these different formats are emerging from like interesting people walking their dogs to these dialogues, which are great, to cook-alongs and all that kind of stuff. I would love to see a live Lego build on
Oh,
Substack,
I
and
mean, I will
yeah,
happily, if you teach me how to make that happen, and I'll make it happen.
that will be my mission. So welcome to Substack El Desco, by the way, Emma. It's a loosely formatted show, but the kind of idea, I do it in my lunch break because I love doing live stuff and I don't want to make it look like it's on the company time. Um, but I've got my lunch ready. I'm at Muddy Puddle, I think, in Islington, which is a vegan place, and I have a humita mushroom and broccoli quinoa
Oh,
waiting
that sounds nice.
the end of this broadcast. What's in your lunchbox today, or have you lunch?
I'm going to make myself a a a, a roasted tofu and roasted mushroom miso soup with Chinese leaf and cabbage.
You cooking that from scratch for yourself?
Yes.
That
It's
sounds
really
wonderful. Do you do
easy.
that for
It's
lunch, or
really
is it
easy.
a
You
special
just
lunch,
get,
or just
it's
a
so
normal?
easy. If you get some tofu and get some like exotic mushrooms, get some nice mushrooms,
Yeah,
like, you can get packs of exotic mushrooms from Sainsbury's, e.g. Get those, chop
yeah.
up your tofu into little squares, tear your mushrooms, don't cut them, tear them into a little pot, put some Caribbean rub seasoning on them, little bit of corn flour, little bit of oil, throw that into an air fryer until it's
Oh,
crisp, and then you make your miso soup base, which is just hot water, a spoonful of miso, a squirt of sriracha, a little dollop of soy sauce, chuck in some Chinese leaf and some cabbage, and then ping when your tofu and mushrooms are roasted, just chuck it on top, and it gets lovely crispy on top, and it's delicious.
oh. Now you brought up a word that I have to ask this of a master chef like yourself. Air fryer. I've just brought an
Yes.
air fryer into my life because we were redoing our kitchen.
Yeah,
Thought
they're handy.
it was handy. Is it just a wee oven? Like, is it?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is basically. Yeah, it's just like I mean, it's just a quick oven. That's all it is.
So it's the speed that so you use it
Yeah,
even though you've got an oven, you would sometimes use air fryer
yeah,
instead for certain
yeah.
tasks.
It's really good for chips, and it's
Mm-hmm.
really good for poussins.
Poussins. Okay,
Poussin, yeah,
there we
which is
go.
they're mini chickens, if you don't know. But
Oh, that's great.
yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, we've got one of those ones that's a both an air fryer and a hot pot. So we do a mean bone broth
Oh,
uh,
nice.
in it as well. So that's really good to hear because I became a little dismissive of it because I was like, it's just a small oven that's on my cooktop. But no, there are some things that it's really useful and
Yeah, it
helpful.
is. It is definitely better than the oven for chips.
Yeah. Um, Another little format thing on our show. Well, here we go. Substack in the news is something that I
Yes.
relate to, specifically the UK. Like this show, Substack is really big, and it's especially big in the US because it's just been established for a bit longer. The
Yeah.
UK, for those of you who don't know, is is the biggest growing market. I think it makes so much sense because we do so much creative stuff here. So I like to focus on some kind of Substack in the UK news. And somebody brought up an interesting point on Instagram. They were they were proposing, it was almost fan fiction, a Gen Z Bridget Jones. And they thought that rather than Bridget Jones's diary, it would be a Bridget Jones's Substack. Now,
Yes, I mean Helen Fielding would have to do that. You'd have to persuade her to come and do that for you. But yes,
yeah,
if Bridget Jones had a Substack, it would be very, very, very popular. By the way, can I just give a shout out to Gav
yeah,
Cross, who's watching, who's
awesome.
just said naan bread pizza in this. I can see that, Gav. Yeah,
Simple base, simple base. Yeah.
I'm interested, Gav. Let me. Do you put cheese and tomato? Do you make your own tomato sauce, etc., or do you just use tomato paste? But I mean, I would do a bit of tomato paste, mozzarella, and then whatever topping you want. Bang it in the air fryer. But that nice.
We've had a lot of success in our household with cans of cherry tomatoes. Just the sauce from that and the cherry tomatoes is
Oh,
the
nice. Yes,
straight
lovely,
out of the can.
lovely. Yeah,
Tests
lovely.
really well with the toddlers in our house and me, who mops it.
Yeah, no, you should definitely get on to Helen Fielding. You should badger her until she does a Bridget Jones Substack. Yeah.
Kind of like the Harry Potter stage show, which I really enjoyed, which imagines like the next generation of little Potter fellows.
Is that the cursed child?
Yes,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
3 hour play, but it was like the children of them. So maybe yeah, we might get onto that in the thing. Just out of interest, and I don't mean to put you on the spot with it, but are there some substacks that you kind of read and follow?
Yes, I mean at the moment I'm absolutely obsessed with what is currently going on in America
Oh
politically.
yeah.
So there's some absolute go to Substacks that I follow on that, and that's
Mhm.
Everyone is Titled to My Own Opinion, which is a
Ah,
very funny, very rude Substack by Jeff Tidrich, but he's really funny. But that one comes with a slight 18 warning because he doesn't hold back. Let's say with the extraordinary swears. Then
okay.
there's Rick Wilson, former Republican, who is very brilliant. There's the warning with Steve Schmidt, and you've just got Jim Acosta, which is
Yeah,
an
Jim.
absolute coup.
He's just
What a signing for Substack that is!
oh, it's so right.
Amazing.
And also the
Yeah,
way he uses it is incredible. He doesn't actually own a laptop because it used to be at CNN was his desktop or laptop or whatever. He
yeah,
does this whole show which goes out to thousands of people every
yeah,
day. He's
yeah.
200,000 subscribers. And he runs the whole thing off his phone. It's like,
I mean, he's wonderful. So I'm delighted that you've got
yeah.
him. That's really great.
Um, just that when you mentioned it, Carol Eldwalla, whose name I've never pronounced out loud, but who I've
Zoe.
the bro.
Zoe Gomez just says loving Emma's post-it note collection.
Yeah,
That's my next novel.
is that all laid out?
That's currently my next novel. Well, shall I tell you a terrible story, everybody?
Yeah.
So I had written about 60,000 words of it on my iMac, which I'd only had for a year. And I went and made myself some lunch and came back from lunch, and my iMac was trying to constantly reboot itself, and I wasn't touching anything, and I was like, what's going on? So it basically just had a complete nervous breakdown, my iMac, and completely went black, and I just had the dreaded exclamation mark with a circle around it saying, okay, you have to the only option now is restore or revive. So I had to take it to an iStore, and they told me I basically had the very, very rare, awful problem that the hard drive had a fault, The hard drive it was a faulty hard drive, and I lost everything.
Oh my
Lost
god.
everything. So basically, I've got to start again from scratch. It was 6 months' work.
That is so heartbreaking.
It's the sort of thing that could break you. It could break a person. But I just thought, well, I mean, I tell you, I'm very good in times of absolute crisis. If
Mm,
something is really, really, really properly bad, I
mm,
actually become very calm because there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
mm.
Nothing. There's nothing you can do about it. So I allowed myself 24 hours of just going like this.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And then it's just, well, you just got to pick yourself up. You got to write it again. Yeah,
Wow.
worst nightmare. Worst nightmare, Zoe. Yes, but anyway, look, but but
Yeah.
but 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 the rebuild has begun. That's what they are.
Yeah.
It's the rebuild.
I have heard of, I think it was actually a mystical saint from the 15th century who wrote a book and was then ordered to burn it, and then wrote it again. And apparently
Mm.
she reckoned it was the same thing. Do you have a sense, because you would have taken a lot of care to write it the first time,
Yeah.
do certain
Um.
phrases and stuff come
There.
naturally, or are you finding it for the
I
first
mean,
time?
yes. There are moments that are returning to me, and I think in some cases the exact words, because I do.
Mm.
But the way I write is I aim to write 1,000 words a day, which doesn't sound much,
Oof.
but that is a properly edited 1,000 words, and it will have been gone over again and again and again
Yeah.
until so I don't move on to the next paragraph until I think
Mm.
that paragraph is nailed. So that's how
Oh
I
wow, yeah, that's
operate. And then when I've done that 1,000 words, the first thing I do the next day is revisit that 1,000 words and I will edit it
yeah.
again. So I'm constantly, constantly, constantly editing.
Hmm.
And obviously, when you do that, then yes, things sort of go in. But the beginning of the book I was writing 6 months ago.
Wow.
So, you know, it is what it is. It'll be a different thing than it was. And maybe the universe wanted it to be a different thing than it was.
Hmm. Um, I will, as a Substack guy, I will suggest if you were to write in Substack as a draft in Substack, version history, people, saved online, version history, you can go back, and it can just live there. So there's a
It,
free option
yeah,
there.
the
Doesn't help.
horror, the horror, there was a triple horror because and I think this must have been because the hard drive was at fault. But it
Mm.
turned out I thought I was saving to the cloud and to
Yeah.
Dropbox, and it
Oh,
wasn't saving to either of them.
you thought you're double backing. Oh, that's terrible.
It wasn't saving to either of them. It was just saving on the iMac, and that was it.
Oh, one
Uh,
one extra question that I have, just because of it's so colourful back there, does pink or yellow post-it mean anything different, or
yes,
orange?
yes. So the pink and the yellow. The pink ones are one main character, and the yellows are the other main character.
Oh,
Because in this book, there are two joint main protagonists.
yeah,
So that's what's going on there. The orange ones are other significant characters, and that's simply just to remember their names.
yeah. Interesting. Hey, thank you everybody who's watching for your suggestions. The closing the door after the horse has bolted, but the kind of sharing that we love to do. It's really lovely of you to be so caring and to show all these different ways. There are some that I didn't know about either, and I think it's really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for interacting.
Yes. Thank you.
Um, the last little question that I like to do in this little format, then, and this is putting you on the spot a little bit, but anyone, alive or dead, who would you like to see on Substack? We've had
Oh,
George Orwell, we've had
Dorothy
Seneca,
Parker. Dorothy Parker.
Dorothy Parker's
Dorothy Parker.
brilliant.
She would be amazing.
Oh, what a great suggestion.
Yeah.
That, that's going in there in the Pantheon, and Elton John
Yeah.
was the as well, but you were straight in there with Dorothy Parker.
Yeah, Dorothy
Fantastic.
Parker, 100% Dorothy Parker.
I think that's a great suggestion. We're going to make something of it. What I do after this, because this is going to record as a nice little video, so I will put it out on Monday, and I will have that Dorothy Parker suggestion in there with a photo, and we'll see. Yeah, we'll make it into a little collection, a pantheon of people alive or dead who we wish would be on Substack. So, Emma, it sounds like you have got a delicious lunch to go to.
I have, yeah.
I also have something very intriguing as well. Thank you, all of you, for dropping in to Substack El Desko today.
Right,
We're going
Milligan,
to
yeah.
say hooroo.
Gav again is just said Spike Milligan. He would also have been amazing on
So
Substack.
I nearly caught one of my
Amazing.
Spike after Spike
Oh,
Milligan. We just
yeah.
backed out at the last second there, but that's another great suggestion, Gav. All of you out there today, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for interacting. Subscribe to both of us. Emma, you should be able to find Emma Kennedy. I think it's Emma67. We're gonna have
Emma
a
K 67. No, I think it's just Emma Kennedy now, isn't it? Or it's Emma Kennedy 60. I don't
you
even
should be able to touch a button, everybody that subscribes you to both of us. But Emma and I are going to talk offline. I'm going to make sure building with Lego is on. There's some Substack presence, and yeah, we're gonna get you. We're gonna rope you in, Emma, because it's so lovely to see that. And is there any more? Do we have any episodes of Why coming out? Your wonderful podcast.
Yes, we've just finished season 2, and we just had the conversation just yesterday about all the topics that we're going to do for series 3. So, but we're going to go weekly.
Awesome.
Yes. So instead of just doing seasons of 12, so we will be once we start up again, it will be every single week. Yeah.
Awesome. I just highly recommend. I love curiosity, and you exude it and exemplify it. Thank you so much, Emma, and we will talk soon, and maybe see you all back here next week, Friday, 12:30 for Substack El Desko live working lunch. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.